Shalom, short exhortation about what a lot of of our people are seeing, or what's in the skies tonight. I don't believe this is able to be seen in the west, if you will, Western Hemisphere. Well, I don't want to say hemisphere. I'll say in Babylon, America. But so, for example, like you know, tonight, if you will, that's you know the signs in the sky, blood moon, etc., etc. Well, look, I seen some other Israelites post, right? They was like, "Yo, you know this on the Shabbat?" Well, yeah, it's not all. It's not also on the Shabbat. It's also on, right. It's on and or during tabs. A lot of people don't understand what's going on. There's war. This is a sign, right, from Yahweh Yahweh Shah, right, from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah in the sky. Remember, say it's gonna be signs, in the skies and the luminaries and the celestials. This is a sign from the Most High. Number one, yes, it's a Shabbat, but it's also a high holy day to the Most High, right? Regardless of what other Israelites do and think and all that. Listen, man, I don't feed off all that. Like, listen, some are the anointing, right? We know what that is. We are in the 7th month. The word September means what? Like, that's the 7th month. We're in the 7th. We're in the holy month. What we're seeing right now is the beginning, or you during Feast of what should be Feast of Tabernacles right now, right? Right, around the same time when the Most High Yahweh brought the Israelites, the Hebrew people, the Negroes back then, if you will, out of Egypt. He brought us out of Egypt. I ain't saying it's going to happen now, but this is a sign for war, right? Remember that third woe cometh quickly, very quickly. This is what you're seeing right now, okay? For those who are on the Eastern Hemisphere, South Africa, East Africa, etc., etc., everywhere except Babylon, America. Because remember, that third woe is going to come upon Babylon, America without warning. They're at war, right? And here's what I mean by that. Those who were in the so-called military, army, navy, etc., just like I not just me but others, but I warned people a few years ago when Russia was about to invade Ukraine. It's because the 101st Airborne went over there. I'm gonna say a week, but I think it was like 3 days before Russia invaded. The 101st Airborne of the United States, if you will, right? They do not deploy unless there is war, unless the United States is initiating war or they know it's coming to the doorsteps of somewhere. They do not leave. Everybody know about the 180, the 101st and the 82nd. They do not leave. Let me get into that. So this is what we're seeing right now, right? This blood moon, etc. This is a warning from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, from the Most High, right? This is a warning. It is the Shabbat, right? I saw one other Israelite say, you know what? They showing this, and it's the Shabbat. That's right. It's the Shabbat, but it's also during Feast of Tabs, right? Feast of Tabernacles. Let me get into that. Let me show that, because I brought up the 101st, right? Let's see. Hopefully, if this pull up, right? The 101st Airborne, right, is to take over military efforts, right, at the border with Mexico. So they down there right now. This is a day or two ago. They down there right now, right? Soldiers from the 101st Airborne Divisions and other units are headed to the southern border to, quote unquote, relieve troops who have spent months carrying out security operations, the Army said. I'm going to just pause right there. That's all you need to know. The 101st and the 82nd do not leave unless the United States is pushing war, meaning it's about to happen within the next week or two, or they know war is coming to the doorstep of somewhere. They do not leave. I can't stress that enough. This is a warning, right, from the Most High. This blood, but this is not a coincidence, and it's on the Shabbat, and it's in the 7th month, and it's during Feast of Tabernacles when the Israelites were brought out of Egypt, right? War comes. Second, I'm going to play some videos. I played these before. We are in the so-called year of 2025. This is 80 years after World War II. Every 80 years, right, is a secular, meaning after every 80 years, the war, the crisis in this country is war every 80 years. Remember he said that third woe coming quickly? That's unto Babylon. That's World War III. That's unto America, unto the Edomites, Amalek. It's going to come as a shock, right? Matter of fact, let me go ahead and get there real quick because I see a third woe coming quickly. Stand by, right? We're going to go straight to it, right? We're going to go straight to Revelations. Right there. Revelations chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past. That's talking about World War II. The second woe means destruction, death, pain, like World War II. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe is going to come quick. We had warnings. They had warnings about World War I, World War II, right? They had warnings, and they knew that Pearl Harbor and all this stuff was going to get invaded. They had warnings, and people were marching through the street. We're going to war, and they had to had all the manufacturing plants where they were making up, they were making or processing, bullets and all different types of stuff, right? Ask your elders. My elders old enough to remember that's when the banks and all this shut down. But it's saying, the Most High saying, this third woe, it's going to come quick. You ain't going to have time to prepare. You're going to just walk outside one day and you're going to see them Russian and Chinese planes and air fighter jets in the sky. You're not going to have time. It's going to come quickly. And we are at the 80-year mark. It has been exactly 80 years since Japan surrendered on that aircraft carrier to the United States. It's been 80 years exactly. Since the United States has been, America, if you will, has been, I'll say in existence. They have been at war more years than they've been at peace. Over 270 years they've been at war. This is the third woe. This 80 years is up right now. Right now, this is a sign. This is a sign that everyone's seeing, right? I played these videos before. They're supposed to be a short exhortation, but I want to get out to people what you're witnessing tonight. While everybody worried about their vacations and this and what are we going to do next year and this and this. If your pastor didn't talk to you about this today and he didn't prepare y'all to say, hey, look, your next check or two, you might want to grab an extra bag of beans or rice or something. Like in the movie Leave the World Behind, right? They were vacationing. They were worrying about the wrong thing. And it was a dude sitting there like, oh yeah, all right. He was grabbing water and food and this, right? Like Noah, you still got to do the work. That don't mean somebody's like, no, the Most High gonna take care of us. Yeah, but remember, knowledge and wisdom shall be stability of the times. He gonna get the Israelites the knowledge and the wisdom. Stability means stable. Like you're gonna be stable. Don't worry about it. When they pop up, why? Because I'm going to give you the knowledge, the wisdom, and understanding. The Most High is always 5, 6, 7, 8 steps ahead. Always. Right? Matter of fact, let me play some of that. Let me back out. I always played this before, okay? Matter of fact, I just mentioned that, right? Look. Matter of fact, I just mentioned it. Let me play some of this.
Historical events. They don't just happen. They're set into motion.
He's saying historical events, they don't just happen. Right? He said they're set into motion, but also we know this prophecy because what we just read is 1, 2, the third woe is going to happen. It's going to come quickly. We have to be knowledgeable, right? Those of us who the Most High give different gifts and et cetera, right? To different Israelites, different prophets, different servants, et cetera. This is what's about to happen. When I told people a while ago, I said September going to be interesting. This is why what's going on with the United States and Venezuela, right? Why he's challenging China, Russia. This is why all these countries are teaming up. Remember, it says all of them are going to gather up and they're going to hate the whore. The whore means Babylon, right? Statue of Liberty sitting in the midst of the water, and they're going to surround her, right? That's what's going to happen. I don't care how big and bad you think you are. If 15, 16 18 nations come against you and you alone, I don't care how bad and how many missiles, nukes, sit at home and control drones you think you got, you can't stop everybody when they come against you. Pay attention to this. I played this several times over. We are now in the year of this war happening. It's about to come quick. And then the mark of the beast, and there's only a handful of prophecies left. This is about to happen before winter, right? Remember, when we see the sword coming, we supposed to warn y'all. So this is for the elect. This ain't for all y'all, who really ain't paying attention.
Men, generational personae. And each one of these unleashes a turning that lasts about 20 years, more or less. And every 4 turnings is a seculum, which is about the length of a human life. And at the end of each,
like I stated, a seculum. There's also a book called The Fourth Turning. Y'all pick that up. Watch.
And every 4 turnings is a seculum, which is about the length of a human life.
He's a fake
and
Jew.
At the end of each, there's a crisis. In this country, the crisis is always war. Revolution, 80 years later, the Civil War. 80 years later, World War II. And that's coming up on 80 years now, so. Something's about to happen.
And the look on his face is exactly how y'all look at us when we be trying to drop y'all knowledge. The Israelites will look like, yo, look, this is about to go down, right? This is about to go down. It's going to be famine of the word. Then it's going to be inflation, right? Then it's going to be a cry in the streets for the Israelites. Y'all going to be like, yo, where did he go? Where did such and such go? I can't find his name on Instagram no more. The internet ain't working. I remember them talking about this. This is all prophecy. You can laugh. What did it say? Laugh now, cry later, right? Matter of fact, let's get that. Remember, I just pulled that up, right? 1865, they told you slaves was free. Man, please. They didn't stop eating us and boiling us with sugar and water until the 1970s, right? You got 80 years later, World War II. 80 years from now is when? Now. This just passed. That's when Japan surrendered. It's about to go down. That's why they're stationing the National Guard all throughout America. They know they're already at war. They say they're not gonna tell y'all. It's gonna just pop off and you're gonna be stuck, right? And when it pops off, look, matter of fact, let me go ahead and get into some of that. Like we get into the scriptures in Amos. The Most High talks about that. I believe it's Amos 8. He talks about that. There it is. Behold, Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, said Yahweh, right? That I will send a famine in the land. Because it's going to come a time where the Israelites y'all ain't going to be able to hear from us. You're going to have to remember what your lying pastor told you. Just believe in Jesus and give me 10% of your money. I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst for water, but of hearing of the words of Yahweh. That means everything you hearing in this land right now, present day, it ain't the truth. We going to church, we doing this. That ain't the truth because we right in front of y'all. Remember, I'm roughly paraphrasing, but one of the scriptures Most High said, when all this pop off, you're going to look up, he said, lift up the eyes, and you're going to see our teachers, meaning you're going to see us being lifted up. You're going to see like, dang, it was a prophet, and roughly paraphrasing, the scripture says, they're going to look up and say, dang, it was a prophet amongst us. Yeah, like, we are your cousins, we your brothers, we your ex-boyfriends, ex-husbands, baby daddies, all that. And it's the men of the Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. It's the Israelites, it's the 144,000 men. Y'all gonna look up and be like, dang, this whole time it was him? Yes, right? Verse 12. And he's talking about the people y'all, right? The people who ain't listening. And they shall wonder from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and you shall not find it. Meaning, you're going to have to know us or be in the house with us to get this word, to get this truth. Meaning, what do we do now? Right? Gog and Magog, the Medes, the Syrians, right? The Moabite, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, all these people done invaded Babylon and America. And don't think you could run. It's going to be worldwide. So people say flee them. They don't know what they're talking about. Because this is the prime place for salvation. When all this pop off, yo dude who got the Corvette, the G-Wagon, the diamond chain, and they ain't going to be able to help y'all. Y'all going to, like what it says, man, woman, and child, they going to wonder. They gonna run. They gonna run. The most High say you gonna run. I don't think he mean you gonna skip. You ain't gonna hop on a hoverboard, a skateboard, a scooter. You ain't gonna hop on a bike. You ain't gonna be on a four-wheeler. He said you gonna run to and fro and seek the word. You gonna be like, man, what them one dudes at? What them Israelites? They normally be out there on the corner. Dang, that dude normally be out there standing in front of Kroger, standing in front of Menard, standing in front of Publix, standing in front of Wawa. What? Damn, where he go? Whatever happened to that dude? And they gonna go there daily looking for us, and we're gonna be gone. Because the Most High says it's gonna be a famine of the word. It's gonna come a time where He's gonna tell us to shut up. I'm saying this because this is what y'all seeing. It's about to be war. That's the sign you're seeing with this blood moon. And it's during the Holy Week, and it's during the Shabbat, and it's during Feast of Tabernacles. It's about to be war. Think about the movie Red Dawn. Remember, it was during football season. Go back and watch the movie Red Dawn. They know what they're doing. The hunt for Red October, etc., etc. They know exactly what's going on. This is why all these countries are positioning themselves against the whore. And so when this war pop off, it's going to be a what? Right? So it's still going to be, a little time, if you will, but it's going to be what? Famine. Famine of the word. Famine in food. And it's going to be inflation. I've did this breakdown before. What the average person makes in a week, which is about $580 to $800 within a week. That's how much it's going to cost for one plate of food, one plate of barley. Just one plate. Now, what if you used to eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Breakfast, $800. Lunch, $800. Dinner, $800. You know how much money that is? And the dollar ain't going to mean nothing. It's going to be all digital. They're going to freeze everyone's bank account. What they going to, the crypto, if you will. Crypto means debt. It's dead money. It's money of the dead, meaning the mark of the beast. Money of the dead. We all going to have to participate in it, but all of us, the elect, all of us ain't going to take that chip in our hand or that chip in our head. So we all going to have to use it in some way, shape, or form, but all of us not going to take that mark. The Most High going to make ways. I did a breakdown on this a few weeks ago. There's ways out there right now. The scriptures say knowledge and wisdom shall, the word shall is a commandment, shall be stability of the times. I gave the breakdown on the option the Most High revealed to me, like, hey, look, that's going to be one way y'all can avoid that. But He gives it unto the elect. He's going to always make a way out, make a way for us to go left or go right when everybody going left, go up when everybody going down, right? And I can't remember when I did it. It was a few weeks ago, but I gave a breakdown on this, right? Revelation chapter 6 and 5. This is what's coming right when this war pop off. It ain't about Venezuela. It's because Russia has a nuclear base and they have military facilities in Venezuela. This has nothing to do with drug cartel because the United States, Russia, China, they're about to go to war. That's why they got those nuclear war. For a drug cartel, why do you need a nuclear submarine surrounding Venezuela? You don't. Nuclear, so you're going to blow up the whole country for dudes moving weight? The average American is stupid. No, it's because Russia has military bases over there and in Cuba. Right? Let's get that. Revelation 6 and 5, right? And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." Like, come here, let me show you something, right? And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand, right? And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny." It's talking about the food, just talking about how much it's all going to cost. And see, you hurt not the oil and the wine. It represents Israelites. The oil and the wine represents those who have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the law. Those who are keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. Because that represents the oil and the wine. This goes back to Matthew chapter 25, right? Matthew 25 talk about roughly paraphrasing, but talks about the 10 virgins, right? Let me see if I can just get to it real quick. It talks about the 10 virgins. Right there. 5 were wise, 5 were foolish. Right? Verse 4. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. That meaning, look, we all Hebrew people, right? Meaning, I'm talking about our people only. I'm just dealing with us. I'm the so-called, I talk about the people that's in Babylon, America. So-called Negroes, African Americans. We all are Hebrews, but the Israelites are the ones who keep the law, statutes, and commandments. It's a difference, right? So the wise, in order to be wise, in order to have wisdom to the Most High, he says, in order to have wisdom, you have to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. He says that this is your wisdom. Here it is, right? Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6. Keep therefore and do them. Matter of fact, I go back to verse 5. Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, right? Even as Yahweh Shem Yahushua has commanded me, right? This goes back, people say law of Moses, same thing, right? That you should do so in the land whether you go to possess it. He's saying you shall do it. So when people say we can't do everything, no, he don't say do it to the best of your ability. No, the Most High says do it. He's the ultimate father. Hey, go in there and clean up your room. Well, I cleaned it to the best of my ability. I ain't asked you to do that. I told you to clean it. Forget what you talking about. Do it. Right? Verse 6. Keep therefore and what? Do them. Does it say, I did it to the best of my ability? No. Do it. It's a difference between doing it and I tried my... No. It ain't no I tried my best. Do it. Wash the dishes. Well, I tried to... No. Do it. It's a difference, right? Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. The word wise comes from the word wisdom. So for the Most High, in order to even be considered wise or to have wisdom, you have to keep the law. So when people don't keep the law, they're dumb. They have no wisdom. They're not wise. You don't listen to people. That's why I don't argue and go back and forth with people. Especially Christian. I don't even do it. I'll say one thing and I'll let them rant on, and they can write novels from here to the kingdom come. Don't matter to me. Right? Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding. So don't have wisdom and understanding. We don't have wisdom and understanding if we ain't keeping the law, right? So let me go back to where I was at, right? I wanted this to be short exhortation, right? So this is what's going on when you see that blood moon. That war is about to take place. It's going to be famine of the word. This is what you call inflation, what you see in the Revelation 6 in verse 6, right? A measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see, you don't hurt the Israelites, the oil and the wine. Those who got the oil, the wine, and the oil, light, etc. Don't hurt them. Don't touch them, right? And during this time, while all this popping off, this war, you're going to see, it's going to be Jacob's trouble, right? It's going to be like a time never seen before on the earth, like was mentioned in the book of Daniel. This is about to get bad. I'm talking about here soon. While everyone's planning on, hitting the Super Bowl and doing stuff later this year or next year, it's about to get bad. This is the warning. We have to give y'all warning. So if we see the sword coming and we don't blow the trumpet, y'all blood on our hands, on my hands. This is not the first time I've mentioned this over, and I said this fall is about to get bad. Because that 80 years, every single 80 years for Amalek, Esau, etc., is war, it's bloodshed. It's finna come, right? And while that's going on, as I just stated, and I'm gonna just say this and just get out of here real quick. I mentioned people gonna be begging for us, banging at our doors. I believe that's Isaiah chapter 24. It talks about that. See that? It says judgment on the earth. This ain't happened yet. Let me see Isaiah 24 right here. Isaiah 24:10. The city of confusion. That's Babylon the Great. The word Babel means confusion. This talking about America. This is a prophecy. This is why the Lord Yahushua in the New Testament said, man, Isaiah was right when he prophesied about y'all. Y'all don't know nothing. Right here, verse 10. The city of confusion, Babylon, is broken down. It's about to pop off. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. Everybody gonna be hiding, boarding up their windows, doomsday stocking. Think about the movie on Netflix. What was that? I forget the name of it, but the one with Netflix. Everybody talking. Everybody done seen, right? In the days, whatever it's called. Nevertheless, yeah, and it says all them that store up things, it's gonna become a spoil to the Israelites. So everybody who doomsday stocking, etc., is leave the world behind. That's the movie I'm thinking of. Leave the world behind. They gonna end up being at work when all this pop off. Downtown working, somewhere gone, and they got everything at their house. It's gonna be left for a spoil to the Israelites. That's verse 10. Look at verse 11. There is a crying for wine. Remember I said there's knowledge, wisdom, understanding of this word. That wine is the law. Is this? It's gonna be a crying for wine, not for your pastor, not for Christianity, not for Pentecostal, not for Buddhists, not for Jehovah's Witness. It's going to be a crying for wine. And all of them teach the law is done away. It's going to be a crying. That don't mean they're going to be calling, can you, look, I know it's a war outside. Can you come over? No. They're going to be begging, crying, snotting, crawling on their knees. They're going to be looking for the elect. They're going to be looking for the Israelites so they can, what do we do? Because during that time, they're going to see the chariots. They're going to see the chariots of the Most High. Like the scriptures say, they're going to be over our dwellings. They're going to be over our chambers. That means they're going to be over our house. There was a movie called Nope, right? Nope, right? The dude from Antoine Fisher and Kiki Palmer. And them chariots was right over the house of the Israelite man. Now, they did that to scare y'all, but they showing y'all the end times. Them chariots gonna be right over the elect's houses. And if anybody runs up, the scriptures say they're gonna be utterly wasted. Like the one angel, I believe it's the book of Samuel, he jumped down and he killed one angel. Killed 185,000 men. If they run up to our house and they not an elect or 1/3, like now 144 to 1/3, that we ain't gotta say nothing. The angel gonna waste them anyway. Let me go and read that. I'm gonna get out of here, right? Isaiah 24:11. There's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. No more he and ha and the kikiing. The mirth of the land is gone. In other words, it's a wrap, right? So with that being said, this right here, right? With that being said, look, this is a sign that people are seeing tonight. If you're on the Eastern Hemisphere or if you in the West, like a lot of us are, this is a sign, and it's the Shabbat. So with that, right, even right to the Israelites and to the elect, Shabbat Shalom, this is a sign. This is a sign. War is coming. The third war is finna come quickly. So with that, right, like the Most High has always told the elect, right, those elect men, to set your house in order. So with that, hopefully brothers, few sisters have been edified. Shalom.